Okay, hello and welcome to the Etsy University Setting Up Your Etsy Shop for Success. If you can hear the sound of my voice, please type into the chat box a yes or hello so that I know that this is live streaming and we are all set to go. I'm going to test out the chat box to see if anyone can see that. If you can, awesome. Well, I see that we do have someone that can hear and see everything, so I'm going to switch into doing the Etsy Live class. I'm going to go through the entire class, and then at the end of the class, I will go through the chat box and see what questions we have. Keep in mind, all of the questions will be answered at the end of class. There is about a 30-second delay from what I'm currently saying to what you are actually receiving. So keep that in mind as you chat into the chat box. There is a 30-second delay. So we're going to go ahead and kick off this class. Any questions that you have, please type them into the chat box. I will answer at the very end of our time together. So let's go ahead and jump right into the Etsy University class, talking about how to get started with your new Etsy shop, and also giving us information if you already have an Etsy shop or it's a brand new shop, or maybe it's just a shop that has sat dormant for a while and you want to know how to go in and actually update that shop, understand Etsy, understand how Etsy works, and how you can begin to make your Etsy shop work for you. If you will, into the chat, I want you to type in what you sell, your current city and state, and how you heard about this class. So I'll leave that up for a few more seconds. Remember, there is a 30-second delay from what I can see in the chat and what actually is happening on the screen. So go ahead and type in what you sell, your current city and state, and how you heard about this Etsy class. As you're doing that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and how I came to start teaching Etsy classes for Etsy University. I'm the owner of Expressions Bracelets. I'm SaRatta Murphy of SaRatta Speaks and Expressions Bracelets. And I have a background in motivational speaker, a business trainer, and a seminar presenter. And I spent several years doing that before I switched over into being an entrepreneur. My business, my product-based business, Expressions Bracelets, is a jewelry line, an inspirational jewelry line. And then my business consulting business helps individuals understand how to build a successful business by understanding your business from the ground up. So let's go ahead and dive into talking about success on Etsy and how to build that shop and lay the foundation for building a successful shop. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. A lot of times we wait to get started because we're not quite sure how to get started. But getting started is the key. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex and overwhelming tasks into small, more manageable tasks and starting on the first one. So when it comes to your Etsy shop, we're going to be talking about all the things that go into building an Etsy shop. But the beautiful thing is you will be able to watch this video again and again and take it one step at a time and dive into each one of these tips that we're going to give you today so that you can make the most of this workshop. The first part of our time together is getting started on Etsy. We're going to talk about why Etsy, why even start on Etsy, and what is the benefit of being on Etsy. We're going to talk about shop optimization, which is extremely important with any platform that you're on, is to optimize your site, your shop for getting found. And then we're going to talk about resources, showing you how you can actually get additional resources to help you out on your journey. So, what is Etsy? There are a lot of things going around about what Etsy is and what Etsy is not. And in a nutshell, it's a global marketplace, and it's designed for those unique and creative goods that you typically may or may not find elsewhere. It's home to a universe of special, extraordinary items, from unique handcrafted items to vintage treasures, and also a lot of craft supplies. A lot of people go onto Etsy and find some of those beautiful craft supplies that they use to then turn around and sell on Etsy. This platform is designed to empower sellers to do what they love and then to help buyers find the people that are selling the things that they would love to buy. So, why sell on Etsy? Well, first and foremost, Etsy has its own built in audience, which means if you set up a shop on Etsy, if you optimize that shop, and if you work to drive traffic to that shop, Etsy is going to match that traffic by saying, hey, there are people looking at this item, so let's show this item to more and more and more people. There are millions of buyers in the US and around the world, and they know Etsy as a trusted brand. That automatically, with your collaboration with Etsy, helps you to be viewed as a trusted brand amongst buyers on Etsy. You can set up your shop very quickly. You can spend tons and tons of money trying to set up a site, but you can get on Etsy and use that as your starting platform. And it's affordable for you to start early and start quickly. All you need is a couple of hours if you've already done the prep work of putting your pictures together. And then you're also a part of Etsy's community of entrepreneurs. There are a lot of other sellers on Etsy. There are a lot of sub-communities that you can be a part of, that you can find that support that you need when it comes to being a small business owner. You can also easily manage your income and expenses with the built-in payment account, as well as keeping track of that for yourself, which we will talk about toward the end of class, which is tracking your finances. We're going to give you some top tips on how to track your finances. Now, let's first start by talking about Etsy's fees so you understand what affordable means and how that plays a part in how much you list your items for. When you're looking at how much it costs to sell on Etsy, you need to be able to factor that into the cost of how much your items are worth. Now, when it comes to pricing, you may also want to look at talking to a financial advisor or a CPA or someone that can help you with managing how to price your items, or a business coach that can help you manage your specific products. This is just to show you how much it costs to sell on Etsy. So first and foremost, there's a 20 cents listing fee per item. Every item that you put up on Etsy costs 20 cents. And that is for 4 months of it being active. When the 4 months are up, meaning from the day you put it up to 4 months later, if that item is automatically renewed, you will be charged another 20 cents. If you decide to deactivate that item, you will not be charged again. Be careful of listing multiple quantities of one item at a time. Only list what you have available, and then as you renew it, it should be deducting how many have sold. And so if you have more in stock, then you can up the quantity. When you make a sell on Etsy is when you are charged again. There is a 6.5% transaction fee for every sell on Etsy. Then there's an additional 3% payment processing fee plus 25 cents. Now, the payment processing fees for Etsy payments orders vary according to the location of your bank account. So whether or not you are in the United States, you're in the UK, or you're somewhere else in the world. Make sure you understand what those processing fees are for where you are located and where your shop is operating out of. There are also offsite fees, which are 15% commission every time you have an ad that someone actually taps and purchases from. So if you are running ads on Etsy, yes, you're going to be charged a fee. So when a shopper clicks on one of those online ads for your products and purchases from your shop within 30 days, you'll pay that advertising fee. You only pay an advertising fee when you make a sale. That eliminates the risk that you pay for ads that you don't actually work for you. Now, another great tool to use as you're started on Etsy is downloading the Etsy app. The Etsy Seller app is so amazing because it notifies you when you get a sale, it notifies you when you get a review, it notifies you when someone messages you, because we are always on the go. And so we want to be able to have those notifications right in our hand so that we can quickly respond or quickly take action on whatever those notifications are. So in the Sell on Etsy app, you're able to manage your orders, you're able to edit listings, and you're able to respond to buyers very quickly from anywhere. You can also do some customization of your shop while in the Etsy app. Although some parts are limited, you want to play around with it and see exactly what it offers for you to be able to customize on the go. Maybe you want to put up a new listing while you're sitting in the coffee shop, because you know that listing is going to do well, and you can just add that listing right from your phone as long as you have all of your photos available to you. There are also integrations on the Sell on Etsy app. You can connect to services to help you grow and streamline your business. There are apps available within the app to integrate where you can market your shop, you can manage your finances, you can create content, you can edit photos. So there are all types of amazing apps. Now, if you're not familiar with my TikTok account, which is SaRatta Speaks, visit me on TikTok, where I do a lot of tips on Etsy seller shops. And I give you quick 15 to 20-second tips on how you can optimize your shop, integrations you can use, and so forth. So make sure after the class you find me on TikTok at SaRatta Speaks and follow me there. We will also do updates on when our next class is going to be as well. In your seller app, you can also look at your shop stats. It gives you a quick overview of how well am I doing today? How many visitors have come to my site? How many have actually shopped around and looked at different listings? How many sales have I gotten today? These are good to analyze what's working and what's not to get hung up on the numbers of, well, X amount of people came in, but we want to know that X amount of people came in, X amount of people stayed around and looked at listings, and here's how many sales we got from it. You can have a lot of visits and no sales, and that's not good. So you want to make sure that your ratios are good. People are actually sticking around to look through your shop, and they're actually converting to buyers. So that's the purpose of the shop stats. We'll talk a little bit more about shop stats toward the end of class. So here's how you build an Etsy shop strategy to begin to find out how to set up your policies, to begin to understand your listings, your packaging, and what's important to the people that are going to be shopping on your shop. So what's important to the target audience, especially as it relates to Etsy? They want to know, when is my item going to ship? How quickly is it going to ship? That's going to be set up in your shipping profiles. They want to know, what are the shop policies? What happens if I don't like my item or I never received my item? That's why it's important to set up shop policies so customers know what to expect. And it also helps you with setting the expectations of a customer. And then when they think about, hey, they said this item was going to ship in 3 days, but it shipped in 2, they are very surprised and they are more inclined to tell someone else about this amazing shop or leave a positive review. Also, and part of your strategy is your branding and your listing descriptions. Understanding that when you are branding your shop, you want to make sure it's a cohesive theme, that what you are selling really lines up and complements other items in your shop. And your packaging. Your packaging is the first thing that a customer sees once they open up their order. So you want to make sure it lines up with the brilliant branding you did on Etsy and that follows through in your packaging once they receive that item. So start to think about, what are your goals for your Etsy shop? Do you want to make 10 sales the first month, 5 sales the first month? How much money do you need to make on your Etsy shop so that it makes sense for you to have that Etsy shop? Start thinking about your goals for your Etsy shop and writing those down so that you can make a plan for how to reach those goals. Also, you want to start preparing for key moments. Right now, we are maybe a month or so out from Mother's Day, and then another couple of months out from Father's Day. Those are going to be your next special key moments that are going to come up very quickly. And then from there, once you hit the summer months, you are already starting to prep for the holiday season. So here's what you need to get started. You want to select your starting range of products for Etsy. So for example, you want to think about all the items you want to sell, but narrow it down to the ones that you believe are going to do best and that people are actually looking for. Then you want to start doing your research, gathering your product titles, your descriptions, your pricing, and your tags. We'll talk about that in a moment. I would suggest getting a spreadsheet and starting to write out what you can title this item. How can I describe this item to a customer? How do I price this item? And then what tags? Tags are going to be your keywords that you're going to use for people to help find you. And you get 13 of those, and we'll show you those in just a moment. And then you want to organize all of your photos that go along with each one of those listings. The more organized you are, the better it's going to be as you begin to set up your shop. Another key important thing is gathering your banking information. Make sure you set up a separate account, an account that is a business account, so that you can accurately track the amount of money that's coming in from the sales that you're making on Etsy. What that's going to do for you is to help you understand how much it costs to sell on Etsy and how much you're actually making by what comes into your account. Now, we could dive deeper into that because you still have to cover your expenses as far as supplies and business expenses. But for now, just get that account separate so that you can accurately track how much money is coming in and how much money you're spending on selling on Etsy. If you have any production partners, meaning people that you work with to manufacture your item, there are sections where you can add in your production partner. Let's talk about setting up your shop and optimization. We're going to talk about top tips for choosing your Etsy shop name, how to customize the look of your shop, listing keywords, creating listings that convert, product photography, and mistakes that new Etsy sellers make. So let's dive into your shop name. Many of us already have a shop name that we're considering. So here's some things that you want to factor in as you really finalize that shop name. Choose suggestive words that reflect your style, and I'll show you an example of that in a moment. Another one is put the Etsy shop name to the test. Do some research, run it by friends, ask people what do they think about it, but also make sure that name is not already taken before you fully commit to a name. Make the shop name memorable. You want people to be able to say your shop name and it flows easily, and it's easy for them to tell a friend about that shop. Remember, done is better than perfect. If you're feeling stuck or not totally happy with the name, you can change it later. So how do you start brainstorming your Etsy shop name? Well, you can find inspiration. Just searching on Etsy alone gives you a lot of inspiration for how to name your shop. Look at other businesses, look elsewhere aside from just Etsy, and start identifying what you like or don't like about those names to help you you're looking at those names as a customer. So that's going to help you really fine tune what you want your shop name to be so that your customers can really gravitate and feel the energy of that name. So how does that name make them feel? Is it easy to remember? And does it fall into many categories so that when people are looking for items, it can populate? Here are some descriptive names. We talked about making sure that when you're considering your brand name or your shop name, that you consider suggestive descriptive names. So for example, Looking at a few of the examples: urban cheesecraft, waterstone succulents. Very suggestive. It puts people into a mood. Maybe it's morning ritual jewelry. We still have that main category of jewelry, but it tells the person that, this is more ritualistic jewelry. This is something that maybe that person gravitates to. You want to evoke some type of emotion. Or maybe you just simply want to use your name, which is awesome as well. So when you're thinking about that, when you talk about using your name, it can put you in a space that now they associate you with the brand, which can work well to your benefit. But if your name isn't available, you may have to think about adding something at the end like studio or co or inc or workshop or any other word that may work. Keep in mind, your shop name is different from your Etsy username, and you shouldn't think of it as like a username or a nickname. This is your brand name that goes on your packaging, that goes on your cards, that goes on your social media platforms, your email marketing list. So make sure that that shop name is very distinct, but very telling about what you sell. So as I said before, when you're putting that shop name to the test, Google it, search on Etsy, see if there are too many names out there that are very similar to yours. You don't want to get lost in the sea of similar names. Keep in mind, you're already up against stiff competition just starting a business online in general. So you want to make sure that there's enough uniqueness there that as you begin to spread the word about your name, it's going to stick and separate itself from others. Google it, make sure it's not trademarked as well. And then also check on social or anywhere else that a shop name might be to make sure that this name is not already overly used. When you're customizing the look of your shop, let's talk about some things that you want to consider. So, tips for customizing your shop page. You want this page to tell a story when someone lands on it. So your shop icon and your banner are two of the most important things as it comes to branding your shop. Now, of course, your shop photography, generally speaking, is important. Your shop banner is full of your shop photography. Your shop about page is full of your shop photography. Your listings are full of your shop photography. So make sure it's cohesive. Make sure it tells a story. Make sure it draws people in. And if you're not sure if it does that, just start searching on Etsy for shops that grab your attention and see how they are styling their banner, styling their photos. And that's going to help give you an idea of what catches other people's attention. You want to let your product shine by maximizing your listing photos, and you want to make sure that you are showcasing all the different things that you offer and how they complement one another. Now, the time that you can shine as a shop maker is in the About section. You can really tell people who you are, why you started this business, why it's important to you, what your mission or vision is. Give them something to begin to connect to you and your brand so that they feel more of a connection, which drives them to see your items in a different light. Everything with a story behind it really does give that product a meaning. So here's an example of a shop, and as you can see, her shop banner lines up with the same colors that she used for her shop icon. Now her shop icon is her shop logo, and as you can see, it's all cohesive. It looks good. Now over in the far right hand corner is just her photo of herself. You can use that to put a photo of yourself. You can also put it as another version of your logo, whatever you choose. But the two things you want to focus in on, the first thing they see, shop banner and shop icon. The icon is the smaller square portion down in the left-hand side. This is the same brand, same shop, and do you see how her About section also lines up with her brand colors? It's very cohesive. It connects together. And here, she uses this portion to share details about her story and the process of her shop. Here's another great example of a very well done shop banner and shop icon. See how their shop banner and their shop icon, again, cohesive, lines up with their brand, brings out the color of their brand, but it also shows what they sell. And when you're thinking about the photos that you want to include on your shop banner, make sure the resolution is good, make sure it shows up well with detail, and also make sure that it is some of those items that you're either promoting for the month or that are selling very well. And at the beginning, you don't know what's selling very well. So use the items that pop to you or that your friends or family have said, oh, those are great. And then switch them up as you see what's selling. Some things we think are amazing may not sell well, and that's okay. Always try to put your best sellers up there, because if they're selling well, if more people see them, they may continue to sell well. You can also customize how your shop is searched or how people shop your shop. So at the top, you can put your featured items. And a really cool thing is you can categorize them by how people shop. So although you may want to put up there, these are all of my amazing moon crafted wall hangings, most people may not look at it as moon wall hangings. They may want to look at home decor or updates. So be careful how you categorize your sections. You want them to be shoppable for your customer. So if I come to a shop, I may not know that I'm going to really, really love their bunny rabbit grass decor. But if they just put it up as outside decor, then I may be inclined to click on that section and go shopping for what they have in outside decor. Same thing for wedding gifts. I may not know specifically what type of wedding gift I want, what category it falls in, but if they have a category for wedding gifts and I am shopping for wedding gifts, then I'm going to click that to see if they have something in there that I may find useful for my wedding gift. Let's talk about search and how you get found on Etsy. So let's first review how Etsy search works and then talk about some strategies you can use to optimize your shop and your listings. So you've got keywords and you've got creating listings that convert using those keywords, tags, titles, attributes, and all such. And then we're going to talk about the customer experience. So again, we're going to talk about keywords, we're going to talk about listings and how to create listings that convert, and we're going to talk about the customer experience. So let's talk about the two main ways that buyers find items on or that are listed on Etsy. They will either find them through Etsy search or Google search. Now, on both platforms, buyers will type what they're looking for in the search, and then they will be shown results related to their query. Each have opportunities for getting found organically or through paid advertisement. Now you will see on Google on the right-hand side, sponsored means that's a paid ad. It's going to appear at the top. But when you search by shopping, you will also see the other organic search results that are populated as well. Organic meaning you didn't pay for it to be placed there. But what you did do was optimize it correctly, SEO, or optimize it well so that it appears in the search terms that you want to rank for. Now, under the Etsy search, you will also see that there are ads mixed in with the other organic search results that come up. So those are the two ways you can be found, paid or organic. Now let's talk about Etsy search a little bit more in depth. Your titles and tags are what help you to be found on Etsy. So Etsy search uses query matching to surface listings or to search for listings that are relevant to what a buyer is searching for. So it's going to bring up those listings that most closely relate to whatever a buyer put in. So if I'm looking for wedding gifts and I just type in wedding gifts, whether on Google or on Etsy, if someone has well optimized their shop to be the shop for wedding gifts, they have more of a likelihood of showing up. Now, your attributes and categories, which are also a part of your listings, they provide key information that also appear in Etsy search. They are similar to keywords in your titles and tags, but they go a little bit further to more descriptively describe that item. Maybe you didn't put that it was a red robe dress at the top, but In the attributes, you definitely did say that it was red. You may also pick a secondary color, maybe has a little bit of orange in it as well. So these help that item to be found for both red robe, orange robe, and the such. And then your listing quality. To show items that buyers are likely to purchase, Etsy does factor in a few things as it comes to how your items are ranked on Etsy. Another important thing is to make sure that you set your shop to your language. If you speak multiple languages, you can add your own translation to your listings. Translations you add yourself tend to be higher quality and sound more natural, so that they outperform machine translations. Another thing I want to point out, going back to the listing quality, when Etsy is factoring in how well a listing is going to do, they're going to do a review score. They're going to look at your shipping rates, and yes, it is important to offer that free shipping guarantee of $35 or more. Depending on your shop, you can offer just flat free shipping or a $35 guarantee free shipping, which means if a customer spends $35 or more, they get free shipping. The catch, however, is to make sure you're adding those shipping fees into the cost of the item and not separate as a shipping fee. That way, you still are able to pay for your shipping without losing money on your item. Another thing that the market score factors in, or your listing quality, is how much information you filled in on your Etsy shop. Do you have your about section filled out? Do you have your shop policies filled out? Do you have all the information that makes a buyer more likely to purchase your item because they trust you, because you have all the information that answers their frequently asked questions? So these are the things that Etsy is factoring in to see whether or not your item is going to appear in the search result. Product photography is hugely important. Think about the fact that when you go to any website online, one of the main things you're looking for, reviews and how well the item looks in the photo. And you are judging whether or not you want that item just based on the photos. So the photos have to be click worthy, meaning someone has to want to click that picture to see more about that item. When a search result comes up, there are so many other pictures you're competing with. So your item needs to pop on that first photo. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in product photography. Although you have an option to use all 10 listings, keep in mind that it could increase your conversion rate, but it doesn't impact where that item is placed when it comes up in the search result. So I can have 10 photos on my item and still not rank very high in the search results. But if I am found, my customer may be more likely to purchase that item because it has so many different pictures of angles, how the item can be used. Getting great reviews, completing that about section, having competitive shipping rates, which is either free shipping or $35 guarantee shipping, and completed shop policies can all help you in the placement search. So let's talk about a few pro tips. You want to use a title that's concise, easy to understand, and includes keywords. These are keywords that buyers will use to shop for that item. You want to steer clear of giving your items titles. For example, let's say I have a beautiful pair of amethyst earrings and I want to call them Queen Elizabeth. And I want to say Queen Elizabeth amethyst drop gold filled earrings. Well, that may be how I want to name that item. However, most shoppers are not looking for Queen Elizabeth earrings. What they may be looking for are amethyst earrings, February-inspired earrings, purple gemstone. You want to use the items that buyers are likely to search for at the very beginning of your title. You want to place those most influential phrases at the front of the title so that they are actually ranked for that long-term keyword. And a long-term keyword is 3 to 4 keywords placed together to form a keyword, such as wedding gifts for her. You want to use all 13 tags available to you. Do your research. Find out what tags others are using that describe your same items. so that you're able to use those items as well. You want to select the most accurate attributes and categories as you're filling out each one of your listings. If it does not apply to your listing, please do not select it just because you feel like it will help it in the search results. What will happen if I select an item that's not a wedding gift, but I know it's wedding season, so I want to tag it as a wedding gift just so that it can be seen? It will be seen more. However, its listing quality will go down because nobody is clicking it because it's really not a wedding gift. So that's actually going to hurt my shop. So only select what is actually accurate for your listings. And then you want to use your shop stats to track which listings buyers are actually engaging with the most. And we'll talk about that when we talk about your shop stats. Here's another pro tip. You want to create listings that convert and that give customers a positive experience, which will help you with your listing score. So use those engaging, click-worthy photos as your first photo. If you have photos, and maybe you have 20 photos of this item, go through and pick out the top 10, and then go through and pick out the top 3, and then go through and pick out the top 1 that is just show-stopping. That should be your main listing photo. Then you want to write engaging and informative listings, descriptions that tell people what the size of the item is, what it's made up of, how to care for it. All of those things are important things to put into your listing. It helps to provide excellent customer service because the customer is getting their most commonly asked questions answered right in the description. So here's a really quick example of a shop owner that has really good titles. So look at how they have the pizza necklace. Well, someone may not even know that they are looking for this amazing necklace, but let's say they're looking for pizza-inspired gifts or just pizza wall art or pizza slices. When they type in pizza slice, this may come up somewhere in the search result, and they may say, oh, I love pizza so much. I really want this necklace. Oh, and it has a ruby, which is my birthstone. Here's another one, custom hand-embroidered baby crew necks. Really tells the person that if they're looking for personalized or custom items that are hand-embroidered, this may come up and they may say, oh, this is awesome. I love hand-embroidered items, and I definitely love that I can personalize it. Now I'm going to get me a couple of baby crew necks for my friend that's expecting a baby. So make sure you're not listing your items by the fancy name that you want to title them, but more so by the terms that people will actually search for. Here's a quick note about Etsy search and then new shops. When a new shop is created and you start listing, your listings are going to start with a neutral quality score, which means initially they're going to get a temporary boost in the search results to see how they perform. That is why it is so important to not just randomly list items and not fully fill out the title or the description just because you want to get that listing up. Take the time to list it correctly the first time, because how you list it the first time is going to impact how well it does on Etsy. Let's dive into product photography. Once a buyer discovers your listing, your photos can communicate your product and your brand and the vibe or the feel they get from it. Just looking at this photo right here from Witch Goose on Etsy, you can tell automatically that it's a very whimsical, floral-based, very nature-inspired listing or shop. You can tell that they love vintage items just by looking at the 4 pictures or the 5 or 6 pictures we have here. So it gives you a clear feel of the items that are going to be in this shop. And if you are drawn to that type of decor, those type of accessories, vintage items, you're going to search that shop to see what all they have to offer just by this beautifully inspired banner. So your photos communicate a lot to the shop, to the buyers about your shop. Be very, very intentional about your photos, because a photo, it says it all the time, A photo is worth 1,000 words unspoken, and that is so true. Here are 7 essential product photos that you want to have for your brand. Studio shot, lifestyle shot, scale shot, detail shot, group shot, packaging shot, and process shot. Let me show you some examples. With the studio shot, this is just has a plain backdrop or something that doesn't have a lot of texture in it or doesn't distract from the main item. And it's going to help to bring out these porcelain yarn bowls. So no matter what the item is, it doesn't have to be just a white background, but just something that doesn't distract from the item, or you bring the item into focus and maybe the background is a little blurred. So what pops out is the item, and the props are not distracting, but the props help to actually tell the user or tell the buyer how to use this item. So the beautiful yarn bowls can just be sitting there. We may not know what to use them for, but now that they've dropped in a little yarn ball, we know that this can be used for knitters or for people that actually work with yarn as yarn bowls. That's going to be your first photo, the studio shot. The lifestyle shot is where you show your item as it's used in life or how the user would use it. So let's say this blanket or this pillow was being sold on Etsy. This right here shows how it can be draped over the chair. And what would be even more amazing is to see someone there with the blanket draped around them. What does that give the buyer? It tells them how it looks on a person or how it looks in the setting. It helps them to decide whether or not it's going to fit with their home decor. Now, a scale shot illustrates size. So with that lifestyle photo that we just saw, if there was a person with the blanket on them, even though you have listed that blanket as 50 by 70 inches, someone still has to figure out what does that look like in real life. So if I drape the blanket on myself, they will see, oh, that's how much it might cover. The same thing with this jewelry. A really close-up shot of someone wearing that jewelry tells the person, oh, okay, well, that's what it looks like on the arm, and that's how big it is. And even better, you could also take some of your scale shots, especially with jewelry like earrings or necklaces, and maybe you want to put the charm or the earrings next to money, a dime, a penny, a quarter, to show scale. A detail shot is that very close in shot that shows the stitching or the material or the texture or the patterns. It really shows what that item is going to look like once they have it in hand. And be careful not to use a lot of filters or deep contrast or vivid filters, because what will happen is it will look beautiful on screen. But if it doesn't look that way in real life, once the person gets it, they may be let down. So try not to change anything about the item. Just take a really brilliant photo with natural lighting or in a studio setting. Group shot. Now you can use group shot to show a number of different things. Maybe I want to show I'm selling one bangle and I want to show a group shot where there's 4 or 5 bangles stacked up. So they get the idea that we have more items to offer. This person uses a group shot to show the back and front of the opaque beads. So you can show different angles right in that group shot by showing multiples of that one item. Packaging shot is amazing because it tells the person, hey, this is how this is going to come packaged. Now, what does that do for them? Well, it says, hey, if I'm going to send this off to another person, or I'm going to use this as a gift and have it sent to them, now I know what it's going to look like. That really helps me to make the decision of whether or not I want to send this as a gift, or whether or not I just want to get it for myself because I love the packaging. I'm a packaging person. I love packaging. So anytime I see really cool packaging, I am even more inspired to buy that item. So show customers how you package your item. Even if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot to invest in packaging, use some of the more simplistic things and buy stickers that have your logo on them. Or just Google how to DIY packaging. There's so much information out there where you can do low-cost packaging but still make an impact. Process shot. This is where you show how that item comes to life. So if you are hand making your items, painting your items, sewing your items, assembling your items, this shot allows the customer to see the behind the scenes of how this item comes to life. Now, video content is king. Let's just put it out there. That is the truth. So the more video you have about your items, the more you're able to market them, whether it be through your newsletters, through social media marketing, YouTube marketing, which is also part of social media marketing, Pinterest marketing, which is not social media, but still a part of that social media marketing. And now you can use those videos for listing videos. So why not take these really cool photos and then have videos that show them in action? Because just seeing that helps me to do a number of things. This video does what all of those 10 photos did with just one video. It shows the item up close. It shows a little bit of detail. It shows the scale. And if they were actually being worn on someone's ear, it would also show the lifestyle or what it looks like on. So listing photos are becoming a huge part of the Etsy platform. So it's important to just grab those 10 to 15 second. This is actually probably no more than 5 second. 5-second photos, nothing special, nothing over the top, but it does help the customer to make a decision. Here are 5 common mistakes new Etsy sellers are making. Not focusing enough on product photography, huge. Neglecting the importance of tags, that's what helps you to get found. Giving up too quickly. I understand that it is extremely taxing to try to learn all of these things about your Etsy shop. But remember, you want to take one thing at a time. If you're trying to learn photography, learn as much as you can. If you're trying to learn how to brand your shop, learn as much as you can. Learn your SEO. Take it one step at a time. Don't ignore the business side of running your shop. If you ignore the business side of running your shop, you could find success on Etsy, but then not be actually making any money or profit from your shop because you don't know how to budget for expenses, budget for costing and pricing. And the other thing is not getting the word out about your shop. We cannot rely on Etsy alone to get the word out about our shop. We have to do the legwork ourselves. You have to work on driving traffic to your shop. Now, in this last part, we're going to talk about shipping success, encouraging 5-star reviews, repeat customers, and your shop finances. With shipping success, you want to make sure that you are packaging your items so that they do not get damaged in transit. One of the quick ways to do that is to package up your item and ship a few to yourself. That will help you see how that package does in transit. But more importantly, maybe ship them to someone that's in a few states over and see what that package looks like when it travels a further distance. Getting your packaging right, making sure you have your profile set up, making sure you understand international shipping and pricing accordingly, because your free shipping guarantee should not roll over into international shipping, because international shipping is much more expensive. Communicate with your customers how long it will take for you to ship their item, and also communicate what happens if they ship first class. That's going to be 2 to 5 days versus if they do priority, which is 1 to 3. So understand your shipping on Etsy. Encouraging 5-star reviews. Just by sending quality items, what you list in that listing, what you show on those pictures should be what the customer gets, no exception. Now, if there's some color variation because these are handmade items, put that in the description so that they understand there may be a little color difference from here to there or a little slight size difference. And if they're okay with that after reading it, that's fine. But don't send them something they completely did not expect. Quality is important. Customer service, answering your messages as quickly as you can. Putting on that autoresponder so they know when to expect an answer from you. Doesn't mean you have to be tied to the shop 24/7, but it doesn't mean you need to set some expectations of when you're going to answer their message. So here are a few things that can lead to a positive review. Having your listing description fully complete, showcasing your items with all those beautiful photographs, Setting expectations about whether or not you accept returns or what your shop policies are. Adding a few extra touches like a handwritten note when you're still a small shop, or even printing out little notes and signing them for your customers. Responding to your messages quickly, letting customers know when their items will be shipped, and including a tracking number so they know when they will be delivered. Make sure you ship on time or before time. And then you can send a thank you coupon if you have priced well enough to where you can offer discounts in your shop. Let's talk about your finances. This is going to be a quick one, but it's going to be important. Make sure your bank details are correct on your Etsy shop so that your money is not going somewhere else. As I said before, have 2 separate accounts. Open a business account for your business and put all those funds there so you can accurately account for how much money you're making. Review your deposit schedule. Know when you're supposed to get paid and when it's supposed to hit your account. Get to know your payment account. Deep dive into it. Watch it as a sale happens. Watch how much money is being deducted. Understand how much money you are actually making versus spending on fees, etc. Growing your business. Let's talk about shop stats, creating a small business budget, marketing essentials, social media marketing, advertising on Etsy, and tips for getting featured on Etsy. Your shop dashboard is hugely important. At a glance, it's going to show your stats, the number of visits, orders placed, conversion rate, and revenue over the past 3 days. A good rule of thumb is whenever you put up a listing, at least let it sit for 30 days to see how it's going to do. With your shop, every 30 days, you should be tracking each one of these metrics: visits, orders, and your conversion rate. A good conversion rate is somewhere between 1 to 3% when you're starting out. 3% is amazing. 1.5% is good when you're starting out. Anything below that, you want to start diving into why are people visiting my shop but not purchasing from my shop. And then find out where people are finding you. That's hugely important in understanding where you want to put your marketing efforts. If it's social media, if it's direct traffic, or if it's advertising, know where they're finding you. And this is a little bit closer screenshot of how to dig into where shoppers are finding you. And that is something that is really, we dive into when we talk about the SEO and shop optimization. So be looking for those classes so you can get a really good understanding of what your metrics mean. This is understanding your shop's performance, visits versus items sold versus your revenue. So understand your shop metrics. There are blogs about your shop metrics. There are tons of YouTube videos about your shop metrics that you can just take a day or two to dive into. Now, you want to create a small business budget. You want to establish a system for tracking your expenses and income. Every time you're spending something in your business, you should be writing that down. Every time you are making something in your business, meaning the money or profit, you should be writing that down. Anything you spend on your business, from websites to apps that you're paying for, to ads that you're paying for, to supplies, marketing material, even freelancing or getting someone outsourced to make your banner for you, or buying classes. All of that needs to be tracked. And then you need to look at your pricing methods as well. And then you want to learn how to forecast for potential growth. Now, that's a lot of information, and you're wondering to yourself, how do you even go about doing any of that? If you don't know where to start, you may want to look at business coaches like myself and my husband, who actually do a full-on business consult where we not only dive into your product, your target audience, your marketing and sales system, but we come in, which most business coaches won't do, and help you on the financial side as well. And you can find out more about that at SaRattaSpeaks.com. Marketing your business. When it comes to a marketing strategy, you definitely need to determine your target audience. Your target customer is not everyone. If you don't know who you're selling to, then you cannot create a message that attracts that customer. Your brand voice is based off of who you are talking to. And then you want to define your unique selling proposition. Again, these are high-level tips when we're talking about these Etsy shop classes. Take each one of these bullet points and Google target customer, how to find my target customer, how to understand my brand voice, and how to define my unique selling proposition, and do them one at a time. And that's going to help you have a better marketing strategy. On social media, it is one of the most effective low cost promotional tools as a small business owner. You can see my business on TikTok, my product based business, which is Expressions Bracelets. And you can see how I market on TikTok as well as Instagram. Collectively, between the two accounts, we have close to 30,000 followers. So you can see, and with TikTok, we grew that account from I think 2 or 3,000 in December to almost 20,000 current date. So TikTok is a really good platform if you understand it. Instagram can be your jam. It could be Pinterest. You have to figure out which one works for you, but don't try to do all of them at once. Start with one, learn it, and then move to two. Advertising is another way to get your products in front of shoppers. On Etsy, Etsy does have Etsy ads, and Etsy ads makes your listing more prominent for millions of buyers searching for products on the site. You can set a daily budget, let your campaign run for at least 30 days, and then do the analytics, review them to see how well it's doing. If you're spending more money than you're making, you're upside down. You want to really understand why you're not making money. So you can experiment without breaking the bank. You can choose, I think it's from $1 up to $50 a day, but start small. But typically when it comes to ads, you have to understand that for most ads to even begin to convert, you have to spend a certain amount. They will tell you on Google ads that you at least need to be spending $20 a day to see results. For most business owners, they cannot afford that. And that's why I encourage you to really try to drive that organic traffic and experiment with low cost ads, maybe on Etsy first, before you start moving into other ads. When we talk about getting featured on Etsy, this is beyond advertising. These are other ways to increase traffic to your shop, and it's by getting featured on Etsy. Now, I will say from experience, I've never been featured on Etsy. When I started on Etsy, I did all of the legwork myself. I did all of the SEO. I was landing on the first page based off of what I had learned, read, dug my heels into, made great photos, took great photos, and made great listings. And so I experienced initial success. The sales that you see on my Etsy shop primarily came in the first 5 to 6 years that we were on Etsy. I've been on there now for 10 years. Most of my sales now are off Etsy. However, I still use the platform to find new customers. So keep in mind, you don't want to put all of your eggs in the basket of getting featured and then be disappointed when you don't. But here are some cool ways to get your shop noticed. And if it does get featured and it's already set up well, that is so amazing, that is awesome. So Etsy's team is looking for making sure your shop is easy to find, that you focus on really good photography, that you have a well-developed brand, that you actually tell a story in your shop about, that you sell great products that they feel their buyers would love, and that you market your expertise. Whatever you put your shop together as, make sure it's cohesive. Make sure someone knows, oh, this is where I go for bohemian jewelry, or this is where I go for brightly colored planters. Have a theme so that you're better off when it comes to branding and marketing your products. So here's how you can stay in the loop. You can follow Etsy Success on Instagram and Facebook. There's also an Etsy Success podcast, which is amazing. These are all free things for you to dive into and really learn about Etsy. There's Etsy Teens, Etsy Forums, and then Etsy stories from the community as well. My next workshop is going to be announced on Monday, April 4th on my TikTok channel. So follow me on TikTok. Here's all my information right here, where you can follow me on TikTok to stay connected to SaRatta Speaks and learn more about Etsy, Etsy University classes that I offer, and also services that I offer for small business owners. Now I'm going to jump over into my chat to see if there are any questions that someone may have asked that I may have missed, or if you're at a point now where you're able to type in a question, I would love to answer your questions for you. So go ahead and type in your questions. I'm going to be looking for them. It's about a 10 to 15 second delay before the question pops up. I would say 10-second delay before the question pops up for me. And then you'll hear a pause there, and I will definitely start to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to exit out of my screen. I'm going to look into my chat and see what questions I have. So just while I'm waiting on some more questions to come through, I see that people are selling collectibles. Hi, Lauren. Lauren was on the call with us today. Lauren is one of our Etsy team people that help us on Etsy University to make sure these lives are going over very well. It says someone saw this in on Etsy University. Someone in Norfolk, Virginia. My husband flies into Norfolk a lot for his business. You heard it on TikTok. Awesome. From Montreal, Canada. Love it, love it, love it. We've got someone else from Colorado. So I'm going to look for some questions because I have another 15 to 20 minutes where I'm just going to open it up for questions that you may have. Anything that you can think about as far as starting your Etsy shop or anything Etsy in general that I can possibly answer for you. I'm going to be here on the live waiting for those answers waiting for those questions from you. So feel free to start typing them in. I'm going to sit here and let me just type in here, type in your questions now. And you'll see that pop up probably before you even hear me say it. And let's see if we can get some questions. If not, no worries. There are so many other Etsy University classes that are now currently available. I think there's one happening tomorrow as well. So definitely check out the Etsy U website and the link that you found this class in. Just back up into the link before it and you will see other classes available. These Etsy University classes are free. So that is huge for Etsy allowing or giving you the resources free to help you build your shops. Okay. All right. I'm trying to see if there are going to be any questions that come up. I'm definitely going to give it a few minutes because I don't want to miss someone. And I understand it's a lot of information. You may not have any questions right now, and that is perfectly fine. I do appreciate you guys jumping on this live with me. This little webinar made me feel like I can actually do this. I'm so glad. I am so glad. Definitely rewatch this. I'm going to keep this live on my YouTube channel so you can come back and watch this and slow it down and take more notes, and maybe you have another question or two that you want to just shoot me an email about. You can find me at heygirlboss@SaRattaSpeaks.com. Do you think selling digital downloads as a way to ease into selling? Shipping seems a bit intimidating at first. Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think with digital downloads, the amazing thing about that, if you're good at designing those digital downloads, you can really do well because, yes, it does take away that shipping factor. And so if you are in the digital marketplace, if you are a digital creator, by all means, hop on that. I think that is a great way to start. And then if you want to start printing them and offering them at prints at a later date, you may have built up such a clientele that you're able to segue into that seamlessly. So I say yes, go for it. Definitely go for it. If there are any other questions, go ahead and type those in. And I'll probably give it a few more minutes to see if anyone else has any questions. Again, you can find me on any of my platforms at SaRatta Speaks. That's SaRatta, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, A, Speaks, Speaks. That's Instagram, that's Pinterest, that's TikTok. Or you can also find, while I'm saying that, I can just type it in on all social platforms. And I'll also show you guys the name of my Etsy store, which is Expressions Bracelets. And again, as I said before, Etsy is the reason that I was able to go full-time with my business. So I do believe in the platform and how it can work for small business owners. All right, well, it looks like we're about to wrap this thing up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'll probably stay silent for another minute or so to make sure I don't miss any questions. Thank you guys so much for spending this afternoon with me, or this morning, I should say. Afternoon, depending on where you are, maybe evening time. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm SaRatta Murphy of SaRatta Speaks, and until next time, I'm wishing you all the best in setting up your Etsy shop.